Hey guys, happy Friday. Hope you guys are well. Just thought I'd do another video on real estate and how I got started, and obviously I'm biased, but how I'd encourage you to get involved if you're interested in real estate. Again, I think I mentioned some of this in the previous video, but I'll try to go into some more details. There's so much different opportunity in real estate, and pretty much any vertical, right? Anything you can think about in society has a real estate component. Obviously, where we live, unless some of you happen to be living in the woods or in a tree house. Well, a tree house is still a piece of real estate, so you still need, but you know what I mean. So obviously, first and foremost, where you live, your housing, where you work, the office, school, where you shop, hospitals. I mean, anything we do in life has a real estate component to it. So what I always liked about it is the tangibility aspect of it. You know, again, I tell people, you know, when you try to figure out what you might enjoy doing as a grown-up, you know, think about the things you were doing as a kid when you were just doing it for fun. And for me, it was always building, always outside building things, you know, building a tree house, just being outside, and then Legos, building, you know, when I was inside building Legos, it's always building. And so, there was video games in the house, and that was just never my thing. I play a little bit, and then I just kind of get bored with it and want to go and build something and go do something outside. So for me, I kind of knew, you know, when I was in high school, and I was starting to kind of think about what I wanted to do. I was trying to gravitate towards those areas, and I'd read, you know, I think for a while, having said all that, you know, for a while, I read a lot of actually financial books, you know, a lot of Buffett books. That, you know, stocks, you know, seemed interesting to me, investing, and again, I'm generalizing here, but there's all types of different investors. But you know, kind of being a stock investor or being on Wall Street, kind of sitting on a computer with multiple screens, you know, looking at chart, you know, it just wasn't really going to be my thing. And you know, and then pure technology, you know, when I was in college and I graduated in the early 2000s, you know, kind of the first kind of big tech booms, you know, a lot of guys and gals in college were going that direction, and I just that didn't call for me. I didn't really have a calling for that. And you know, during those times I was meeting a lot of different people, you know, as you should, you know, if you're at any age, but obviously even when you're young, you want to meet all types of people in different industries. And I'd met a gentleman that was in real estate, was in brokerage, land brokerage, and that sounded really interesting to me. And so I started an internship during college, and liked it enough. Had found a good mentor at that office that then went on to be a mentor of mine for a really long time. And then we actually started a business together, a brokerage business together, which if I have time on this video I can talk more about. And so, you know, that's how I got into it, just kind of interning during college, and I just enjoyed it. You know, what I loved about real estate, and I still do, is just meeting all types of different people, and, you know, from engineers, architects, to government officials, you know, bankers, investors. I mean, you just kind of get to meet all sets of different people and learn. You know, for me, one of the things I love about life is continual learning, and I get to learn from so many different people that every day just keeps it so interesting, and every deal is different. As much as we, you know, obviously have a turnkey solution at iUnit Communities with our modular building, and you know, we're building the same modular footprint, but the deals, you know, the property owner is different, obviously, and the entitlement is different, and so that part's different, and keeps it really interesting. And so that's what I've always enjoyed about real estate, and continue to do so. And there's so many ways to structure a deal, the capital stack, and so many different ways, you know, construction lenders and financing. I mean, and then this is within even just our vertical, you know, our kind of workforce housing vertical that we're in with iUnit. But you know, hotels, hospitals, data centers, you know, they have their own set of investors and lenders, and how they structure the deals, and everything has its own nuances. And so there's so many different verticals in real estate that you can spend multiple lifetimes going into. And so I can't, you know, again, encourage you enough. It's a great industry. You know, we're just tremendous opportunity. You know, obviously AI will play its role in real estate. And I think will be a tool, to help us hopefully do our job more efficiently. But I think it's gonna be a really long time before AI actually, negotiates the deal, raises the money, puts the capital stack together. Again, never say never. I'm sure many years from when this video is posted, probably somebody comment, well, we got this AI robot that will essentially develop the property for you. That may happen, but I think that's still going to be quite a ways away. And so if those are things that interest you, and also brokerage is a great industry. I mean, brokerage, again, I'm biased because that's how I started, but I wouldn't do any other way than starting in brokerage, because you just get exposed to meeting so many different people, and also different developers, different investors, so you can kind of start to make an idea of the things that might interest you. For me, long-term brokerage wasn't as exciting because I really had this creative bend, right? The classic entrepreneur creative bend, and it was hard. I wasn't getting that outlet in brokerage, where obviously in development, and especially with IUNIT communities, where I'm putting together, all these different technologies, aggregating all this different technology together to make it work. It's super creative and checks that box for me. But people stay in brokerage their whole career, and it's a great profession in the sense that you're not taking the risk of a developer, right? Don't get me wrong. There's many days when I ask myself, man, maybe I should have stayed a broker. You're not taking all that risk, all that development risk, all that entitlement risk. I mean, just everything that goes with development. There's definitely a lot of risk there, and as a broker, you don't take that. What you're risking is your time, and which is obviously valuable, but it's a different type of risk. So brokerage is a great industry as well. When I say brokerage, I'm talking about commercial, because that's what I've done. Residential brokerage, kind of off the cuff, kind of what I would think. I'm kind of going, in fact, the crystal ball looking forward is, I think luxury is kind of really full service. Realtor brokerage, I think, will still be around, because the demographic and the folks in that, that you're catering to, kind of want a white glove approach, and so I think there's going to be always that interaction. They're always going to need kind of that human touch, but kind of the transactional, kind of lower price point real estate brokerage, I just don't know. I mean, me myself using Redfin in the past to buy a lot of our properties, and Zillow, and seeing what Zillow does, and kind of with the internet, I just think that's become a lot more more transactional kind of part of real estate. I think AI and technology, unfortunately, is going to take a bigger bite out of that. I'm not saying it's going to completely go away, but I'd probably be more careful going into that. So if you want to be a real estate realtor, broker, I'd say focus on the luxury, the high-end market. I think there will still be a need there for quite a long time, because those folks, again, that they don't want to deal with AI or computers. They want more of a white glove approach. You can also get through it through engineering, right? I mean, again, you have to think about the things that kind of you're pre-wired to, right? We're all pre-wired. We all have our strengths and weaknesses, right? We all have our superpower, and it takes a while. It didn't happen for me overnight to realize what my superpower was. I shouldn't use the word superpower, but what my strength was, right? And it'll take time for you as well. And so once you kind of have a feel for what your strengths are, just listen to that little voice, your gut feeling. I know it's corny and cliche to say, but there's a lot of truth to that, and only you know that. Nobody else, right? You can get advice. Obviously, your parents know you quite well, and your friends, and that's great feedback to get. But at the end of the day, it's what that little voice is telling you. And it's okay. I was actually telling that to a guy this week, a younger gentleman who's looking to get into business and is a different career, and I told him, and I would tell you guys as well, sometimes in life you're going to go 2 steps back and 2 steps sideways to go 2 steps forward again, and then you might go a few steps forward to then plateau again, to maybe take 2 steps back to then take 2 steps forward again. It's just, so don't be afraid of that. And again, you're in a country, being an immigrant from France, I know this, and I remind myself every day, and I was actually telling the kids this morning, is you're in a country where you can do that a lot easier. I'm not saying you can't do it in other countries, but here's a country you can do it easier. You can switch careers, right? You can try different things, and society will will be there to support you. Where in other countries, I'm thinking obviously of France because that's where I'm from originally. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's just a lot harder, right? Society frowns upon that a lot more. You get to be close to 60. In France, you're kind of, society looks at you as being, old and kind of done over the hill. Where in America, and if there are 60-year-olds listening to this or even older, you can be entrepreneurs, right? You can start a business. People will listen to you. They're not going to say, hey, well, you're too old to do that. No one's going to tell you that. Some might, but I just think majority they won't. And just it's great to have that, because unfortunately, not everybody knows when they're 12, 14, 15, 18 what they're going to do the rest of their lives, and that's perfectly fine, right? It's perfectly fine if one day you're 30, I'm making this up, 38 years old, and you've been an attorney, and you realize, man, you actually hate being an attorney. Your parents push you to be an attorney, or society, or that's the other thing, right? Don't let society, your parents push you. Do you want to be a lawyer, right? Do you want that lifestyle of a lawyer? Right? Think about what a lawyer does every day. Do you see yourself doing that? And a lot of people, and even doctors, a lot of people that, or in general, a lot of people are unhappy with their job because they followed what society or their parents might have told them, and I don't think they did the work to really figure out what interests them, what do they like. And again, that's the purpose of this channel. I'm doing these videos. I'm trying to give you the other message, the other sides to all this, and get you to think through what you're about, and have something that aligns with better with who you are. And again, real estate has aligned with me really well and continues to do so, and it's continual learning, just like flying. One thing I love about flying so much is continual learning. It's a lifetime of learning. There's always a rating to have. There's always something to improve on. No two landings are the same. And so for me, the way I'm wired and how I like to continue to learn, that is a great environment for me. That, along with real estate, which I'm blessed to have combined the two, just is a great combination for me. And you just got to find out. And I know I'm jumping around here. I'm trying to bring it all together for you, but you gotta find out what that is for you. And no one's gonna know that except you. And you gotta try things. Also, like when I say your gut feeling and how you're gonna find that out, you find that also through trying things. And me as an entrepreneur, having invented a sushi gadget, owned a retail, fitness franchise, and done angel investing, and developed an app for iUnit, which I should do a video on, and doing all these things. That's how you tweak. That's how you again, the 2 steps sideways or 2 steps back. And that's why the word failure, I don't, you suffer. I like, suffering, good experiences. The steps sideways and backwards, the society might use the word failure, but you need to go through that to be able to move forward. And I just wish society talked more about that. Obviously I'm making a big point of it on this channel, and we'll continue to talk about that, as I want to make sure you guys have a great, well-rounded approach to whatever you're doing. Obviously, focus this year's entrepreneurship, and even more so on this video, specifically today, real estate. But just remember that, right? That you got to try a lot of different things. And so, real estate is a great industry. Can't say enough good things about it. If you are interested in it, figure out what vertical, which aspect of it. Is it self-storage, industrial buildings, office buildings? Although office buildings, I would tell you, I just think that's going to keep getting disrupted. I don't quite know what that's going to look like, 20, 30 years from now. I think there'll always be some sort of office space, but I just don't know what it's going to look like. So I just caution you on office. But hospitals, right? There's going to be, unfortunately, a lot of people are aging in the U.S. A lot of baby boomers. It's going to be a big need for hospitals, and so that could be a good vertical. But if you're interested, go get an internship, go get a job. Just go start working in it and see if you like it or not, and then you can go from there and either change, stay in real estate in a different vertical, or just change industry and just say, hey, at least I tried it and you had the experience. But real estate. That's the other thing I remind people. Real estate is one of the biggest contributors to any country's GDP. In China, they built fake cities where no one lives so they can artificially pump up their GDP. And so it's a big part of the industry. And most people think real estate, you know, begins and ends with a realtor. You know, when I tell people I'm in real estate, right away they think I'm a realtor, but a lot of people forget that it's actually one of the biggest industries of any country. And so if you're interested in it, I can't encourage you enough to become part of it. It's challenging, it's interesting, you're always learning. So, you know, comment down below, subscribe, like, that helps drive the conversation. And as you guys ask more pointed questions, I can start to go down rabbit holes about, you know, everything that I'm talking about in these videos. All right, guys, have a great day. See ya.